If an NHL team is looking for a truly dynamic offensive weapon at the top of the 2024 NHL Draft, Berkly Catton certainly fits the bill. Now, Catton may not be the biggest forward. He's not. Elite Prospects has him at about 5'11", 163 pounds. He's small, but the talent level, that's undeniable. Nobody questions that. After all, it's pretty hard to argue with 120 points in 72 games in his draft year across the regular season and the playoffs, and that was for a pretty underwhelming Spokane team in the WHL. Berkly Catton can score goals. Berkly Catton can set up goals. And at least at the junior level, he has been an absolute game breaker offensively. He did get a little banged up at the end of the season with a hip injury that hampered him a bit during the playoffs when he was just okay, not his usual dominant self. But by all accounts, that hip injury is going to heal on its own, and he should be more than ready for what is probably going to be the biggest summer of his life when he finds out where he will be drafted at the NHL Draft in Las Vegas come the end of June. So what are Berkly Catton's strengths? Well, for starters, he's just such a good skater. He's explosive. He's dynamic. The acceleration in his game especially pops. He can just go from a stop position to top speed so quickly, and that top speed, that's also plus. He is an exceptional skater, but it's not just that Catton can fly. It's what he does with that skating ability. There's a strong case to be made that Berkly Catton may be the best player in this draft in terms of executing in transition and on the rush. He scores a lot of his goals in transition, whether it be shooting on an odd man rush, whether it be dangling around a goalie close to the net. But he also thrives at passing the puck at speed, at finding the open man when defenses are in chaos and when a goalie is trying to get a handle on what's going to happen next. That's when Berkly Catton's at his best. He's also a fantastic dangler, a fantastic puck handler. He maneuvers through traffic. He goes around opposing players. He goes through opposing players. If you're talking about putting the puck between their legs and passing around them, finding lanes, he just has that ability to see a few steps ahead of the defenseman and really everyone else on the ice and use that vision and that creativity to end up on highlight reels and to play at an exceptionally fast pace. Unsurprisingly, the playmaking skills also top-notch. He's got that vision. He's got that creativity. And while it shines the most on the rush and in transition, he can create in the half court, in the offensive zone on the cycle as well. He has that ability. He can be a power play weapon. He certainly is at the junior level, and he certainly projects to be a power play weapon at the NHL level as well. And look, Catton's small. He's never going to be a big guy. But despite the fact that he's not big, he's not afraid to attack the net front and the slot area. In fact, he scores a lot of his goals right around the net, whether it's in transition or whether it's attacking the net front. He's not afraid to go there despite the fact that he knows he might get pushed around a little bit. So what are the weaknesses in Berkly Catton's game? Well, we've danced around it a little bit, but he is very small. He'll certainly need to put more muscle on. He's not going to be able to jump to the NHL level at 163 pounds to be sure. But even when he does put muscle on, he's always going to be a smallish player who very well might struggle in battles around the net, in the corners, along the boards, and there's legitimate concern that it could make it tough for him to retain possession of the puck when he's facing off against big NHL defensemen. And that leads to the second concern, and this is the concern that really is more of a debate than anything else. Will Berkly Catton be able to stick at center? Some scouts think, due to the size, due to his style of play, due to the fact that he's not exactly a defensive stalwart, that he probably will end up having to move over to the wing. Others, they like his creativity, they like his vision, they like his anticipation and his skating ability, and they say despite the fact that he's not that big, he will be an NHL center. We'll see what happens. After all, it's not easy to make it as an undersized center at the NHL level, given the size of the defenseman, given the pace of play. But it can be done. There are certainly a number of undersized centers at the NHL level that have made it work, and Berkly Catton is certainly going to try to be one of them. That said, don't expect Catton to ever be a physical presence. He has compete. He's willing to go to those areas. He's willing to battle. He's just not going to win a ton of those battles. Even if he bulks up a little bit and gets a bit stronger, physicality is never going to be one of the key facets of his game. Nor is he ever going to be viewed as a shutdown center. Now, he might improve defensively, but right now, it's definitely not a strength of his game. He's passive in defensive zone coverage. He makes some mistakes. He certainly can cheat for offense at times, despite the fact that he plays center. So right now, that's a weakness. The question is, how much can he improve that as he progresses and ultimately gets ready to turn pro? Now, for me, I fall on the side of the debate that I do think Berkly Catton can stick down the middle, and that he has the dynamic offensive tools, the skating, the playmaking, the puck handling that I personally look for in a top half of the lineup, even top of the lineup, NHL forward. For me, he's a slam dunk top 10 pick. And quite frankly, I might be willing to take him even higher than that.